Okay. Hello everybody. How are you? Hope you are feeling well. Today we shall continue with our seminars on theoretical grammar English language. So today we shall have a seminar, a research seminar, theoretical trends and methods in grammar. We discussed this theme in our lectures, but today we shall continue in our seminars. So we shall review this theme and point out the main classification methods and trends in grammar. So I shall use my presentation in order to explain you this theme. So let's go. Okay. Theoretical trends and methods in grammar. So let's continue. Let's mention the main methods in grammar. First of all, this is the descriptivist method. So the main methods are distributional method and the method of immediate constituents. These are types of descriptivist method. That is, these methods were introduced by descriptive school of linguists. Okay, so descriptivist method. We shall further we shall further classify also structural methods. Let's first consider descriptive methods. These are distributional method and the method of immediate constituents. These methods are mainly used in grammatical analysis, mostly in scientific research. Okay? The distributional analysis is a method of linguistic research in which the classification of linguistic units and the study of their features are carried out on the basis of the distribution of the units in question in the spoken chain, for example, on the basis of their combinability. The combinability, environment, context, unit 1, in question, and context, unit 2. These are called combinability, environment and context. Distributional hypothesis. Linguistic units with similar distributions have similar meanings. Second, the method of immediate constituents. The term immediate constituents, IC, was introduced by Bloomfield as follows. Any English-speaking person who concerns himself with this matter is sure to tell us that the immediate constituents of poor John ran away are the two forms, poor John and ran away. That each of these is, in turn, a complex form, that the immediate constituents of run away are ran and away, and that the constituents of poor John are poor and John. So you can see, in short words, we can say immediate constituents method separates sentences, word combinations into parts, into smaller parts, and analyzes. Immediate constituents. You can see there's classification analysis of poor John ran away example sentence poor John ran away in the following slide. Poor John ran away. The first classification poor John, the second part ran away, and they also are divided into further two parts. The method of immediate constituents. This method is based on the binary principle. For example, each stage of the procedure involves two components. The unit immediately breaks into. The analysis is completed when we arrive at constituents incapable of further division. So while you can't divide it into further parts, then the analysis is complete. So you have to keep in mind. Definitions for the method of immediate constituents. What kind of definitions are there? Definition 1. An immediate constituent is a word or a group of words that functions as a single unit within a hierarchical structure. Definition 2. The ultimate constituents are the smallest meaningful units which any given construction can be broken down to, consisting of a morpheme at the morphological level and a verb at the syntactical level. So, in the morphological level, the smallest part will be broken into a morpheme, and in the syntactical level, it will constitute of a verb. You have to keep in mind. Definition 3. The linguistic procedure which divides sentences into their component parts or constituents in this way is known as constituent analysis. Definition 4. The segmentation of the sentence into its immediate constituents by using binary coupling until its ultimate constituents are obtained is called immediate constituent analysis, IC analysis. These are the definitions. Let's move on to transformational grammar. We discovered descriptivist grammar. Now we shall move on to transformational grammar. What is it? The idea of the transformational grammar, TG, was first suggested by Selig C. Harris as a method of analyzing the raw material, concrete utterances, and was later, in 1957, elaborated by Noam Chomsky as a synthetic method of generating, constructing sentences. TG is a system of grammatical analysis that uses transformations to express the relations between elements in a sentence, clause or phrase, or between different forms of a verb, phrase, etc., as between the passive and active forms of a verb. You can see this scientist on your computer screens, Noam Chomsky. This is his main notion about transformational grammar. So you can see, you can say that he is one of the fathers of transformational grammar. Let's continue. TG refers to a syntax and presupposes the recognition, identification of such linguistic units as phonemes, morphemes, and form classes, the latter being stated according to the distribution and the IC analysis or to the voice. Okay. According to Chomsky, the central goal of linguistic theory is to determine what it is that people know if they know a particular language. Knowing a language involves having the ability to produce and understand an unlimited number of utterances of that language that one may never have heard of produced before. So, language learning doesn't only involve learning the patterns or structures or forms. It also involves learning to have an ability to produce and understand unlimited number of utterances of that language. So, this is another definition. A GM is a system of explicit rules that may apply recursively to generate an indefinite number of sentences that can be as long as you want them to be. John saw the picture of the baby on the table in the attic. You can see the example here. S sentence, N noun, NP noun phrase, verb, VP verb phrase, P preposition, PP prepositional phrase, DP determinant phrase, DET determinant. So you can define them in structure with these following shortened types of formulas. Let's see. John saw the picture of the baby on the table in the attic, how it can be structured. So you can see, John NPN, saw the picture. So verb is classified as a verb and it's further classified as saw. And DP, the, NP, picture, PP, of prepositional phrase, Z, also DP, determinant phrase, NP, noun phrase, baby. And the second part, on, PP, prepositional phrase, the, determinant phrase, table, noun phrase, in, PP, the, determinant phrase, and the last one, and. You have to be careful while classifying these schemes in pointing out the structure. In my assignment part, I will assign you two for IC analysis, transformational grammar analysis, transformational grammar method analysis, and so on. So you have to pay attention to the structures and how they are structured, broken into, split into parts. Let's continue. In generative linguistics, grammar refers to the implicit, total, unarticulated knowledge of rules and principles of the language that people have in their heads. This tacit knowledge enables them to distinguish between well-formed and ill-formed words and utterances in their language. For example, it's correct to say grain, but incorrect to say a oat. So, generative linguistics refers to the implicit. So, we have to keep it in mind, and it will enable us to distinguish right formed and badly formed words. In generative linguistics, the term grammar covers not only morphology and syntax, but also semantics, the lexicon and phonology. So, traditional grammar mainly deals with grammar and syntax, but generative linguistics, generative grammar, also pay attention to semantics, lexicon, and phonology. So you pay attention to every aspect of the language. Phonological rules, morphological rules, syntactical rules, and semantic rules are all regarded as rules of grammar. So in generative grammar, all of them are regarded as rules of grammar. Chomsky has shifted the focus of linguistic theory from the study of observer behavior to the investigation of the knowledge that underlies that behavior. In generative linguistics, rules are intended to go beyond accounting for patterns in the data to a characterization of speakers' linguistic knowledge. The primary objective of generative grammar is to model a speaker's linguistic knowledge. Okay. Chomsky characterizes linguistic knowledge using the concepts of competence and performance. So you can see here, linguistic knowledge. It's comprised of competence and performance. Okay, you can see here. So linguistic knowledge is mainly regarded with competence and performance. Chomsky proposes that competence rather than performance is the primary object of linguistic inquiry. Chomsky contends that the linguistic capacity of humans is innate. The general character of linguistic knowledge is determined by the nature of the mind, which has a specialized language faculty. This faculty is determined in turn by the biology of the brain. The human child is born with a blueprint of language that is called universal grammar. So, we mentioned transformational grammar. Now we shall move on to universal grammar. So, it was the general definition. Latin, language acquisition device. So, universal grammar mainly deals with set of common grammatical rules. How language acquired by a person. So we can see here. According to Chomsky, universal grammar is the faculty of the mind that determines the nature of language acquisition in the infant and of linguistic competence. So, universal grammar theory. So, Chomsky believes that children will never require the knowledge to process an infinite number of sentences if the language acquisition mechanism was dependent on language input alone. The theory of universal grammar was proposed, suggesting that all children are born with ability to acquire, develop, and understand grammar, regardless of where or how they are raised. So, it is innate. Okay, that's all. Language is governed by a set of high abstract things that provide parameters which are given by different languages. And this was the last definition of universal grammar. If you want, you can see my presentation. I will download it to Moodle device. That's all. Goodbye.